Hey guys.
I'm Bob.
I'm Barb. Together we make up
HetteshWorld. What's the conversation about today, Barb?
Well, I know a lot of you feel that our lives are romantic and we get to do everything we want, which I'm not saying we don't. We love and enjoy it, and Bob threw that rule book out the window, so we are trying to live life our way. But we want to be honest with you guys and say it's not easy when you got to drag your home from place to place all the time.
On this video, we just want to show you sometimes getting in and out of these parks is not always so easy.
And we're going to give you tips on things that you need to think about when you're moving your home around.
Yep.
So stay tuned. We're Bob and Barb. We've lived by the rules all of our lives, but in 2020, we threw that rule book out the window. We sold our home and moved full-time into an RV with our cat Amelia, and from now on we will be living life our way. Don't you want to come travel in our world?
Okay, I'm going to go forward.
Okay, you're good over here so far.
Tail spin.
Yep, I'm looking at it. You're fine over here. Watch that tree on the other side. Yep, you're past everything over here. Okay, you're good over there. Good on this side. Are you okay? You're doing good. Is that thing in the way? That pole? Okay.
As you can see from this video, starting out, we're hooked up to the fifth wheel. And my very first thing I like to do is the day before, I like to have an escape route. And with a big unit, we need to do that.
He means a week before.
A week before. Yeah, well, I like to plan it out in my head, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you get neighbors that like to park real close to the roads, and we've had some move before, politely have us come to move because we need to get, this rig out of our space. What I like to do is plan it. As you can see from this video starting out, I actually back up the fifth wheel to get it aligned, and this is not a real tight spot here. Of course, we do have some tail swing, and we have to watch out for the trees and stuff on our left and right. But we've been in some where you actually have to think about what you're doing when you go to pull out of these areas.
Bob is correct. This is probably a luxury space maybe for us.
Yeah.
When you're leaving a spot, because we're not talking about getting in yet, we're talking about just leaving a spot, you need to think about where is the picnic table, where is the fire ring, where is the electric and water and sewer hookups, how close are you to them, what trees are on either side of you, or what, as we are right now in the park we're in, what poles may also be by you. So these are just things that you need to think about, so let's continue on with watching the video. Oh, you're scaring me. Hold on. Let me check things. Okay, you're okay.
So as you can see, I'm making a left-hand turn here, and I have to pay attention to the turn, but also on my right side, I have a basketball court that was put out by, an annual or permanent that stays there.
Right on the road.
Right on the road, so their kids can play ball, which is fine, but I have to pay attention to that. On the left side, I have a black pickup truck that's hanging out there, so I have to pay attention to that because the roads aren't always designed very well for these larger rigs to make the arcs that they need to do.
Yep.
So that's what we have to pay attention to on this early on into this travel.
And then we have to communicate. And at first it's new. When you're new on the road, you're not really sure what to do. We use a walkie-talkie system, so
Yep.
we talk back and forth to one another. I had to learn more than him because he's the one that's driving. So I need to say, if I'm saying left, I need to make sure that it's his left, not my left. So we need to always communicate well so we understand, because what I tell him, he then moves on, and if I tell him the wrong thing, then it could take out that basketball. It does look funny because I'm like, stop, let me look here, let me look there, you know, but it's just what we need to do because I want to make sure that our home is never damaged, and I never put him in a situation where he's going to damage it.
Over the year and a half, I've watched people, some spouses, they'll do hand signals.
Yeah.
You know, and that works well for them. But for us, the walkie-talkies work great.
Yeah.
Because Barb has gotten real good, and she's real in tune with, you know, how big the rig is and how much space we need to get it in. And if she's in question, then she'll ask me. I'll get out and look too. Sometimes I have to get a feel for the lay of the land myself.
No, I want him to get out and look. I'm going to tell you about a thing that you have not yet seen yet. When we were in Florida, where we were driving down the road and we fit the entire road. And then they had these awnings that came out that hung into the road,
Yep.
you know, and then we had to turn in. It was a pull through between two permanent homes, and we had to pull into it. And I'd never dealt with high trail swing before, always low.
Yeah.
So I almost led him into ripping off somebody's awning,
Yeah.
which would have made the guy mad. He was sitting there watching.
That the awnings actually come all the way out to the road.
Yeah.
The road was narrow. I mean, it wasn't maybe 12 feet wide. The tail swing on this fifth wheel is pretty large when you're making a heavy arc. So you have to really be conscious of that. And I felt like there was something not right. And when I got out, and we actually had a guide from the office that was telling us, you know, where the spot was, and he was concerned about us getting this big rig into that spot. He was not really that concerned, but I got out and looked, and if I didn't, we probably would have taken out one of the awnings with the tail swing.
And the guy was sitting there, and he was an old New Yorker, so he would have.
Did tell me how great a job I did that I was able to get in the spot with.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be conscious of your camper, no matter what size it is and what type of spot you can take it into.
Bob has a natural knack. He's overconscious, he's confident, but he makes sure the situation is okay. Not all drivers are like that, and that is okay. You will get there in time, but you need to stop, and you need to get out, and you need to look, do it. And our number one advice at this point is, if somebody else tries to get involved, tries to help you, say very nicely, no thank you.
I don't need the help.
I mean, another situation in Florida where we were backing into a very tight spot, 10 men ran out and they were like, we got this, back away. And I'm like, you know, and Bob finally had to tell them,
You need to get away.
he told the guy, tell me what to do and I wreck my camper, you're going to be paying for it. If she tells me, then it's on us.
Yeah,
It's on him.
he was so insistent. He told me his 33 years of driving a truck.
He was telling
And
me.
he's telling me turn right, turn left with my steering wheel. I've backed trailers up before. I know which way I need to turn the wheel to make it go, which direction I need to go. That ain't the problem. The problem I have backing into spots is making sure that Barb is comfortable with the spot we're going in, whether it's trees, you know, some of these concrete patios that stick up really high, and your sewer connections and your electrical. So that's what we're trying to look for.
The only thing I like about it when these men show up is when they go, back away, little girl. And I go, huh, no. So let's get on with the show. Starting here, we are going from where we had good size amount of room to drive around on the road to what it really looks like from the fifth wheel's viewpoint on driving on some of these roads when you get into the tighter part of the park. When you're driving down a narrow road like this, you need to be aware of what poles, what permanent items are near you on the road, what vehicles might be near you. You need to be aware of trees beside you and above you, as you saw. And then at this point, Bob gets out of the truck and he does one more walk around. We always want to make sure that our jacks are always up, nothing has been missed, every cabinet is locked and every slide is in and the door is locked and the handle on the door is closed.
I can't stress that enough, the walk-arounds, whether you're in the park before we leave, if they got a big enough apron out front, we'll pull up and we'll do a final walk. We'll make sure the slides, like Barb said, and the jacks and everything are in place, so when we pull out on the road we don't have to worry about it. This new location that we pull in, we're fortunate to get a pull-through spot. It's a newer section, so there's no trees that's going to hinder us at all, and the easiest spots we ever had to pull in. Very little concern with anything except for where our utilities are, where we have to hook up to them.
Super nice, because originally they were going to put us out where it's only 30 amp and then they are allowing us to be here in the 50 amp. Into the wrong spot because PDs are over here, PTs are over here, but as you see, PT fits us better than the PD. PD's wide, but not long, so this is perfect. So this site was actually a gift. Have had a few of these in our travels, but not many. Mostly we get small
Back-end spots.
Back-end spots. Sometimes you get pull-throughs, but you might be on top one another. You might be pulling into a spot where you've got your pedestal right here and you're pulling in, and then you've got a concrete pad right over here. I mean, you've got trees all over and on top. There's been places where we've had to clean up trees and cut down branches before we could even get into spots. And I'm going to let Bob kind of share what you need to look for in his experience so far with pulling the fifth wheel into these spots.
The one thing I just wanted to say is on the utilities, whether it's your sewer, electric, and water, we've had sites where they put them in the right spots for most campers. We've had ones like the Wisconsin site that we just leave on this video. All the utilities are at the road. You better have 40 foot of sewer runs to be able to get to them. Well, we actually had to let our neighbor borrow our electrical cord because they couldn't reach because it's so far away. Yeah, on sites now, like Barb said earlier, sometimes you get these pull-through spots, but most time they're back-end spots. And Barb didn't understand from the very beginning on the site side, driver's side, that I love the back end. I like to try to go down the roads to where I can actually see where I'm backing into. I hate backing in blindsided because I just can't see as well out the mirrors to be able to back the camper in as safe as I feel. If I can go in there site side, it is so simple. I mean, this site we're in right now is so tight that, and there's a telephone pole, there's 2 trees, and it's tight. And people that walk by and said, how'd you get that big rig in there? Well, if I can see what I'm backing into, I can get it in a pretty tight spot. But we've had some spots that were just horrible. And these sites, you got these 90-degree sites that were older, that it's nice when the sites are actually on a 30-degree angle, so you're already ahead of the game when you're backing in. But these 90-degree sites, and you got a small, really narrow road, your approach angle has to be adjusted several times to be able to get it into that site. When we pull up to a site, we will walk the site. We'll see where our utilities are. We'll see what obstacles. We've had railroad ties that were punched down with rebar, that the ties are all gone and the rebar is still sticking up. I had to pound them down the ground because I literally couldn't pull them out. Before
you pull into a site, you get out and you look at the site. I mean, you want to make sure the electric is really working. You want to look at the water. You want to find out where the sewer is. Do you have enough of whatever you need to hook everything up?
Yep.
You need to look at the ground. What is on the ground? Are there things that you can pick up? Are there things you need to nail down? What do you need to do? And then you need to look, where are the trees? Where is everything at? Because you need to know. So then our job's easier communicating because we already know you're backing in here, do this, don't do that, watch for that kind of thing.
The other thing I wanted to mention was we have a fifth wheel with a garage model, or a toy hauler, either one. We have to be conscious of how far we need to get back to be able to still load the door, because I like to get the bike out and I like to put it away because I got a garage.
Yep.
And we don't need the garage.
Just like you guys do.
We don't need the garage like most toy haulers need a garage. That's their living space. Our garage is our garage. It's not living space. So I like to be able to throw the bike back away. Otherwise, I got to cover it up. So we have to be conscious of how far we can get back in the spot where I can still lower the door. The other thing that we have found, that the site, if it's unlevel, when the camper goes to its auto level cycle, our trailer will be this way and the door will be arced, and the motorcycle has such a low clearance, I think it's like 7 inches, it will hit on that arc between that door and the camper.
Yep.
So we have to.
It comes out and then it gets like right there.
Yeah, so it'll hit, and I have to put a board underneath the back tire, since it's a 3-wheeler, to pop up, be able to come off of it, and it's just dangerous.
He shot. The little board's there, and a few times he shot it. He shot it out.
Yeah, so
the trailer behind us. Oops.
Well, normally what we'll do is auto level, and then I'll have to go in, I have to manually, because for some reason the auto level wants the front jacks, it wants to have them 6 to 8 inches of piston sticking out. And what I will do, I will manually go in, I'll lower that front end so I can lower the back end, so I can change that angle of the back. And I've actually had some sites that were so tight where we had to actually lift the front of the camper up to change that angle in the back so we could get the bike out, because they were so horribly leveled that they weren't able to be used for a toy hauler. At least our garage model, which we like to pull the bike in and out.
We've also had some sites that are so unlevel that the camper is trying to level, so it's taking it down in the front and it takes it down to the ground and then it times out.
Yep.
And that is a nightmare.
It's an auto leveling issue that I don't understand. I think what it wants some front piston travel to give you like a cushion.
Yep.
And once that comes down and then tries to level the back end, so it'll raise the back up real high to match that. So we have to go in there manually and level it ourselves.
He's gotten really good at manual. In the beginning, it was like, oh,
yeah, it was scary. Yeah, the first time I used the manual on my phone, because I used one control on my phone. It's a little scary when you're popping your rig up and it like jumps a little bit. It doesn't actually do like a little smooth little, it'll like bam, it'll just give it a jolt. But we've had to do that several sites, and we try to look at that, and that's why we try to put the camper in the spot on that pad the best that we can.
Yes.
So we have the ability to get the bike out and get it leveled up. We had sites where they were really left to right, they were just horrible, where the one side we'll have to raise really high to get the camper level. I got some 2x12s treated with 3/4 inch treated plywood that I stained black, and we use it under our snap pads just for that additional height if the leveling has to raise the camper so high, so that it's not extending the pistons to their max.
I'll tell you a story. When we were super new down in Texas, I was not good about thinking about what's on the sides. I was thinking about above and below, and we opened the slide behind us here, the kitchen slide on the off side, and luckily it didn't hit anything, but I looked out the window and I'm like, holy crap, because here's the tree.
I mean, it's like a big, huge tree branch. It's like right there.
And we had to get up there and spray it with bug spray because all the ants were crawling all over the edge of where the branch had been cut off at some point or whatever.
Yeah, you definitely have to look up, not just down when you're running your slides out, for sure, because our kitchen slides are real tall. They're high off the ground, so you don't tend to look up as much. On the living room slides, they're low to the ground, so you kind of see, if there's a pedestal in the way. We've pulled into spots and had to back out of the spot. We couldn't run the living room slides out, and they're shallow slides. They're only 2 foot deep, but we'd get so close to a pedestal trying to give us as much camping space on the campsite that we can get all leveled up. You're like, holy crap, I can't believe I got to hook the truck back up, but that's what you have to do,
The party side of the camper, as I'll call it, is nice to have, but it's more important that your home is fitted in there properly, can open up properly, and everything's fine. So if that takes a little bit of that party space away, so be it.
The other thing I'll talk about, I don't like it when it actually lifts the tires off the ground because it makes the camper unstable. This camper's really heavy. It's a really heavy unit. It's worth 20,000 pounds when it's loaded. You get a little bit of movement on the camper if the tires are elevated because you're only hanging off these little 12-inch pads. So what I'll do is I'll manually raise it up and I'll slide some of my little boards I made underneath the tires and I'll bring it back down on those tires, so we're actually planted on the ground.
Yeah, we want to feel solid. You want how your home feels solid. We want our home to feel solid. Never rely on your jacks to really hold you up on their own. I mean, we've seen in parks, especially down in Orlando, because it's not always very level there, they're up on all jacks. And the tires are just hanging in the air, and I'm like, I can't imagine what it's like to be inside that camper.
Because when our tires get off the ground, we know it right away.
Yeah.
When you walk in the camper, you can feel it. In this camper, because our bedroom is a garage, we don't walk a lot around in the bedroom, so we don't get any kind of movement where some people will have like a rear living room or something, and they walk around, and you're way out beyond the hydraulic landing gear. You'll get movement in the camper, but this camper doesn't have that problem because we got the 6 landing gears. Our front is very stable because that's where we spend most of our time with the kitchen. Our living room, we got tires on both sides, so the living room is very stable. The bedroom, we don't walk around the bed that much because it's not a real big space, so we don't feel that movement.
We sleep in there.
We use it for a bedroom like most people.
So we wanted to start bringing you some of these tips about RV living. And the last thing I'm going to say to you is that we are full-time RVers. We are 2 individuals that live in our home on the road. We're not camping, we're not partying, we're not whatever.
We do party sometimes, but just like you would do in your own home, you know.
Yeah, that's what you need to think about to help you guys understand that are not full-time RVers. If you have a home, you're living in it. You're doing your day-to-day activities, you're doing laundry, you might be doing office work, you might be going to work, coming home and making dinner. There'll be times when you're outside, there'll be times when you're inside. It's the exact same thing for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add a little bit to that when we're in 1,000 Trails Park, we're generally around the same people with the same mindset. A lot of times they're full-timers.
Yeah.
When we get around our COEs, our city camps, our state parks, we have the very first thing out of our mouth is we're full-timers because
And they're like,
they expect you to be outside every day around the campfire,
Yeah.
you know, eating s'mores and partying.
we're currently in South Dakota. Even though this video is showing it, we're doing a right time video, which is May of 2022.
Yep.
But this past weekend, it was 30 something
Yeah.
and snowing. And they were out there. I mean, I got to give it to them. Got to give them props. They were out there with a huge fire.
Partying on.
3 campers partying on, which was fine. But I just kept thinking, man, I want to give them some more blankets outside because they were outside shivering.
I was glad I was in my house. You know, that's all we call this our
Like,
home.
man,
You know,
it's hot in here.
it's yeah, we can't stress that enough that this is our house on the road.
Yeah.
And we live in it daily. We are not on vacation.
We just choose not to pay property taxes, that's all.
That's right.
So we hope that this video has been informational and helpful. Please subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up.
Yep.
Please smash up that notification bell.
Yep. We finally got over 1,000 subscribers, so we appreciate everyone out there that watches our videos. We love the comments. The comments is what we do our videos for. It's not about the money. We've never been paid by YouTube yet, so we love the
We
comments.
probably never will be either.
Yeah, and we don't care. That's not what we do it about. We just sharing our lives.
Yeah, we're having fun.
And we're having fun, and we share with our families, and we share with all you guys, and we hope that you guys learn something from it. And every day we learn something new. So with this camping life, I mean, there's not a day goes by we don't learn something new.
Yep. America is so beautiful. That's why I stress all the time that no matter where you are in your life, if you're full-time, if you're part-time, if you're at home and not able to do this kind of lifestyle but like watching it, get out no matter where you are or what you're doing. If you're still working, get out and walk around your office building, breathe, feel the fresh air, whether it's cold or warm. Look at the trees, watch the birds. Silly stuff. Just be, because our time on this earth is so small that the things that we always think that is important, and I mean they're important, but the real stuff that's important, your family and you and your health, it goes quickly.
City Park Run right now is got trails. It's so nice just to get up in the morning, drink a cup of coffee, and go out and take a walk.
I'm in the middle of a canyon, like, oh my god, it's so awful.
We got yeah, it's just gorgeous. You know, we set out a bird feeder. Squirrels are fighting to get the feed, and
the birds are mean here. I mean, I've
Yeah,
never seen them chase squirrels, but they'll chase them.
these birds will go after the squirrels.
They
So
said, don't you be
they're
thinking
like,
you're
you can
taking
have
my bird
what
feed.
you can have what lays on the ground, or I
Yeah.
spill, but you're not to come up that pole and
There
go
you go,
after that.
squirrel. Let's wrap it up.
That's right. Let's get this video done.
So remember, we're HetteshWorld.
Come travel in our world.
Bye.